when people get together in a specific pattern, you create the structure of a machine, of an energetical machine. But for that, you need fuel. The fuel is the negative that we call food. And the purpose is the positive that we call stars. So the light of the stars, sun, moon also, coming down from the positive to the negative, creates the food that makes the fuel for the structure to move. So that's the positive and the negative in our daily life. We have some sun, and then we eat what the sun produced. And in the middle, we do our stuff. So when we organize specifically that stuff related to a specific position of the positive, which is in a specific moment of the year with a certain position of the stars, that gives a specific food for that task that we need to ingest in order to calibrate our machine. And then we position the structure specifically as we are supposed to relate it to that moment. So we start to create something we call manifestation. And in order for that, you need the law of three: the positive, the negative, and the neutral. The law of three basically says that you need always three things at least in order to manifest whatever. So it's good to have someone in charge of the negative, someone in charge of the positive, and someone in charge of the neutral.
So you gloomy motherfuckers, you have a sacred purpose. Like, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So when you are, because we have divided everything into good and bad, we tend to believe that negative is bad. But negative means the one that pulls all the energies to the ground to hold them. So it's basically the feminine side of reality, because receives the energy and produce something with it. Let's say a baby, for example. So it receives all the energies and produces something new from that. That's the negative, going within to interpret something that was outside and give it a mean inside. That was the feminine aspect, which is the negative, attracting that. The positive is the one that expands. Something that is within goes outside and expands. So that's more the masculine aspect of the energy. And the neutral energy is the one that can hold both of them, but doesn't move the other two. Like, it's just the middle point that creates a bridge or a balance between those two forces. So the masculine side, the positive, doesn't go far away, and the negative doesn't go very deep. So the neutral is the one that basically interact to one another, so they remember that they need one another. Okay, that's the neutral. So the law of three says that when you have three people, each one of them representing this structure, you start to create a bridge between what is in another dimension, in the stars, to what is in this reality on Earth. And you, by neutrality, create something new from both of it. And because we have been divided, we either want to go to the light or want to go to the earth. And we kind of start to fight against science, religion, men and women. So this kind of things that are dividing us all the time, when we need a neutral aspect to balance all that, to actually create what we call a toroid, or the magnetical field, which is everything that goes up must go down again. Everything that goes down must go up again. And it creates a constant circuit of electrical and magnetical energies. So when you have these three aspects, you are creating an electromagnetical field, which means that the energy is not lost in the positive, neither kept in the negative. Both are creating a constant circuit of, I have to go away, yeah, but come back to me. And what is in me, I have to share it. So that constant frequency of this constant movement of the energy creates an exchange that manifests and that brings everything that is subtle in other realities into the physical shape. We call manifestation to this process, not attraction. That's another thing, completely different. Attraction is to pull something towards you. Atraczo. So traccionar is to track something. Okay, so attract is basically you will attract whatever is resounding with you. If you are resounding in this way, you will attract what is in your own frequency. So that's why attraction, the law of attraction, never works as specifically as we expect. Because maybe we attract things from our thoughts, but not with our actions. So because we are not coherent in the law of attraction, most of the people cannot actually attract something. Okay, so we have to be coherent first in order to attract something. In the law of manifestation, you don't attract anything. You have to create it yourself. The word manifesto means a party with your hands. It's the Latin word, mani, hands, festo, party. So what is manifestation? Is when your both hands get together in your heart to mold something with mud. So the idea of making clay figures, which is how humans were created, they say. So, because you put both hands together, two opposite things, left and right, together in order to, from the heart, create something. So it's art, basically. What you are doing is art. The manifestation means to create something from your heart, with your own hands, with your own action. So in order to manifest, you need three aspects. One negative in your left, one positive in your right, and one neutral in your heart. When you have this, you have the right that says, I have to do that, the left that says, I need these materials to do it, and the heart that says, this is my intention. So when you put all that together, you start to shape a reality. So that's why when you are alone, you have to think that you are also three. Three in this position, vertical, which is what I think, what I feel, and what I do. That's the trinity of coherence. These three needs to be aligned. And the other one, which is horizontal, is what I receive, what I give, and what I intend in the center. So you create something here that is called the cross. So that's the real cross that we have been all talking about. That is equinoxes and solstices. The planet does constant manifestation because the planet is dancing in a specific circle, going through this cross all the time. So it is so balanced in this cross that it creates life constantly. But because we are disconnected from that cross outside, so therefore we are disconnected from it within, we are not able to create or manifest. So you have a circle, which is yourself, and the cross of manifestation, from the spirit to the ground and from yourself to the others. Vertical, horizontal, and that's what also you shape as the medicine wheel, okay, where you can actually create your own things, your own medicine. So you can start doing it with yourself, thinking if you are coherent with everything that you think, that you feel, and that you do. Once you have these three in coherence, coherence means a heritage that you share. That's the origin of the word. A heritage that you share, which means what I have received from my mind, I share it with my heart. What I have received from my heart, I share it with my body. So that's coherence. And once we have that, we have to understand if everything that I received, I am given equally, and everything that I'm given, I'm receiving equally. So I have a perfect intention. Intention means to be in constant tension. And constant tension for our world is like, it's terrible. But actually, a chord in a guitar doesn't sound if there's no tension. So the perfect tuning for something needs tension. So you have to have the strings very well tight in order for the sound to be perfect. So that intention is not, I would like for that to be. That's the mistake in the mind. We perceive that intention means to put the intention that something would happen. And every time that you believe that, the universe creates always something in the future. Because I would love for that to be this thing. So the universe says, okay, I will create would love to, would. So it creates a constant would that it never happened. Okay? So you have to, intention means when these two coherents are aligned to each other. And they are tied to each other. So they resound perfectly. That would mean. So here you have the law of 3 in vertical, the law of 3 in horizontal. On the three in vertical is what you think, what you feel, what you do. The law of 3 in horizontal is what you receive, what you give, and what you intend. What is your intention? So that would be the main thing. And so there you can understand that you can be the creator of your own reality by putting in action what you feel and what you think. But that is for your own creation. That is for your own thing. And in order to do that, you should never speak with your language in past sentence or future sentence. For the heart to be able to manifest needs always to be in present sentence. That's the power of time, of the cycles. When you talk in present sentence, the universe will always create present, not possibilities in the future or structures in the past.
There's another important aspect of that. When you're placing something in the future, I want this in the future, you're actually reifying, which is a fancy word to say making real. You're making real that in the present, it's not real, right? Like, I want this thing, Lamborghini. Well, you're just reinforcing the fact that you don't have one now, right? Like, I want this healing in the future. Well, you're just reinforcing that you're sick right now. Mm-hmm. Right. So there's a subtle subconscious way that when you place something in the future, you're actually making real the lack of what you're experiencing in the present, which is why the most powerful manifestation practices or visualization practices are to place yourself in a position where that thing, even if it is a future thing, it's real now. So when I was in the locker room with Jake Paul and I was guiding a visualization for him winning his fight against Nate Diaz, we anchored in that moment to a moment where he walked back in that locker room and we both screamed at each other the left hook because we had a vision and shared vision that he was going to knock Nate to the canvas with a left hook. So we were like, right now, imagine that feeling, feel that feeling right now. You walk through that door, you see my smiling face, and we both scream at each other the left hook, and then we hug each other. And we get to that moment, and I actually forgot that we did that, but then he walks back in the locker room and there's a photo of it that he posted on his Instagram of us screaming at each other, the left hook. And it happened exactly as it did, but it didn't happen, imagine that you will in the future in this kind of neutral, non-emotional place. No, we made it real in that moment and we were smiling and feeling that thing happen as if it was already done, as if it was happening there in that moment. And that's the real power that comes from this and this is all, if anybody's been to any of Joe Dispenza's workshops, that's it. You make that healing real. You're healed now. You feel the healing as a present tense experience, which then creates the present future reality that you're actually looking to build. So this is a subtle distinction, but it's incredibly important and actually one of the most essential things when you're trying to manifest anything. And another thing, another law of three that Matías shared was that when you're thinking about this, you want to make this more powerful, think about at least 3 other people that this thing you desire will benefit. So one of the things I want to do, which, I don't believe in coincidences. So a brother came up and said he'd like to do a healing coherence for our brother, Dr. Nick, who's over there fighting his way through, lying down. And so when we're going to do this, I'm going to have Matías architect this process so you can see it in action. And when we do this, one of the things to think about is not just, okay, this will benefit Dr. Nick, but then imagine then Dr. Nick feeling better and then being able to serve his medicine to the rest of the community, many other people that this will benefit. And then all the people who will watch this and watch this healing occur, and then all of the benefit that will create when that healing occurs, so that there's more than just the singular desire. So if you're trying to manifest some abundant reality, well, what is that abundant reality going to help? Is it just going to help you? Well, that's not nearly as powerful to the universe. If you say, this thing manifests, look at all of the beauty that's going to come from that. And the weaver, the mystery, great spirit, the network will say, that's a pretty good idea. Look at all the people that's going to help. And so that superpowers the activation. So it's another way that this rule of 3 can be utilized. And then the last one, just to also touch on, is another thing that Matías taught, which is the ability to bring yourself into a higher vibrational state. So of course, sex magic and manifestation, you guys are probably familiar with that. You bring yourself in a high erotic charge and then manifest from the heightened state of that erotic charge. But also laughter is a way to bring yourself into a high vibrational state. Sexual energy is not the only energy that the body can cultivate. There's other energetic states which hold extra power that you can utilize. So these are some of the codes that can help all of us in our manifestation process.
Mm-hmm. Sex, laughter, and fever. The holy trinity of Kundalini activation. Fever. Yeah. Fever is very good also for the Kundalini activation. It cleans the whole body. So this pattern of 3 can be multiplied then from within, from your own solstice and equinox power towards others, and you create a holy trinity of this same thing with other 3 people. So you create being the positive or the negative or neutral in between other 2 people. But you can also multiply this for 6, creating something that we call the twin flame. And we tend to confuse the idea of the twin flame with a partner in life or a soul that is exactly my complement for life, but it's not. Sorry to kill the magic of trying to find your twin flame to fuck. But actually, it's yourself. Okay, it's more like a masturbation with the spirit than falling in love. But
Holy Ghost! Here we go.
So the twin flame is basically in yourself, is the relationship between this cross, which is horizontal and vertical, which is the 2 flames that are the 2 fires that one ignites in the center of your brain and the other one in your root chakra. So both are basically activating your whole center, which is the heart, in the middle between the heart and the plexus, which is the I am. So when you have this in yourself, when you have that recognized in yourself, and then you pull it out into other 2 people with you, you start to manifest this flame from the root chakra, the negative, and the crown chakra, the positive, and you create the plexus. So it's like a whole process of Kundalini. And when you have 6 people, you are amplifying that into the 2 actual flames. So you create a fire of manifestation, a fire of God, the eye of God, let's say. So at least the machine of it. And then if you put 2 people in the center, one in negative and the other one in positive, someone, for example, feminine or masculine, or someone sick and someone healthy. So it creates also a powerful balance in what is happening inside. So it creates the sun, the moon, the download of a pattern of information. And then if you multiply that by 4 in the center, which is the 4 mother cells, the creators of your body. So you have all the potential that your body needs to awaken something. And around, instead of 6, you have 12. 12 people around, it creates the entire path of your soul. So 12 people around, 6 in the center, 6 around, would empower the strings with every constellation. So all the stars that makes this manifestation true. And then you can keep going that into 36. When you create 36, you are naming the positive aspects of the planet Earth. And then you multiply that into 72. And 72, you have all the names of God, which is all the powerful creation of the divine. And then you multiply it by 2 again in this duality, and you have 144. And with 144, you are able to speak with yourself in all the dimensions. So that's why, depending on where you want to go, as you multiply the pattern, you start to create a net that goes beyond yourself and your own manifestation, and you can amplify that in the manifestation through dimensions, not only in this reality. So you can actually start to bring the power of someone that is in other realms into this realm.